I'm Josiah DeBoer, and this is my Cultivate story. About a year ago, I first met Luke in the lobby of my school. We were attempting to have an internship fair where only about 15 companies ended up showing up, and Luke was in the back advertising a church he was hoping to plant. I went out for coffee with him, and one good conversation turned into another. Eventually I met Charles, and we just started having conversations on a pretty regular basis. What in my background led me to want to work at a place like Cultivate? I was not supposed to be alive. The doctor told my mom, this kid has no chance of making it. I had a twin, and my twin died a few months into pregnancy. The doctor went to my mom. He told my mom, your other child won't survive. You probably won't survive. You need to get an abortion or you're both gonna die. My mom spent some time in prayer with my dad, and they decided to go through with the pregnancy. They had to switch doctors because the original doctor would not allow the pregnancy. And eventually they ended up having me. I wasn't particularly healthy, but I was born. The next few years of my life were pretty uneventful. I was homeschooled, nothing special really happened. And in high school, I started dealing with a lot of questions about circumstances of my birth, who God was, how God could allow something like that to happen. Ended up developing an eating disorder. For a while, was 6'4" and 130 pounds. I was self-harming. There were a few times that I seriously considered suicide. Eventually, my senior year of high school, God started working in me. I started to get a little bit better. I still wasn't in a super healthy space, but I was improving. One thing I did not feel ready for at that point was the normal path towards college. I just was not emotionally ready for it. I didn't think that I could handle the self-discipline required to be in college. I ended up talking to my dad, and he got me a connection with a church in Gary. I had the opportunity to work with a group of middle schoolers who didn't have dads in their lives. I had the opportunity to work with the homeless, and I had the opportunity to work as a paraprofessional in a local public school. Teacher's aide, specially trained to work in the special education classrooms. Those jobs changed who I was as a person. I no longer was thinking primarily about what the people around me could do for me, but instead how I could serve God, how I could reflect Him. It was the first time that even though I'd called myself a Christian for my whole life, that I was actually beginning to behave like one. I have loved interacting with Harlem this whole summer. It's distinct, it's unique, but in that distinctness and uniqueness is a brokenness and a need for God and the way that He can fix things. Harlem provides greater joys than just about any other place that I've seen, but it also shows me access to greater hurts and greater sorrows. Cultivate is deeply needed to help provide bandages for those injuries through the lens of God and God's work, while celebrating the things that make Harlem special and unique. Cultivate NYC is a closely connected community striving to seek after Christ and transform the community of Harlem.